What's up guys, it's Yoda here, and today we are talking about Jurassic World Dominion. So I had the opportunity to watch Jurassic World Dominion on the weekend, and it was good. This review will contain very minor spoilers, but I won't be getting into much detail. Overall, it's a fairly decent movie. There's a lot of plot to get around, many different storylines to follow, and it sets up a lot of these in Act 1. From the start, we get different scenes all setting up different questions that need to be answered. Some are questions that follow on from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, some are new to this movie. The pieces of the puzzle are all there. It takes a while to follow because we keep jumping from one to the other. The second act has some cool set pieces and moments. One thing that this movie does really well throughout is the tension. It goes from one scene where it's very intense to another where there's a jump scare to another one where you're just sitting on the edge of your seat. And this movie does tension really well with the dinosaurs and the humans being in danger basically every moment of this movie. And you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes they escape and sometimes the dinosaurs attack. The third act of this movie really brings everyone together for the big finale, and it works, I guess. It's just good. There's nothing overwhelmingly incredible. I wasn't sitting in awe of the final set piece going, wow, this is the perfect ending to the Jurassic World franchise. It was just good enough. This movie does feel like an ending. There's a final montage that kind of ties a lot of things up, but one of the biggest problems is still left unresolved, and I think that's a big deal. I wasn't sure how they were going to resolve it, and they just didn't. The movie gave itself new plot points to deal with instead of trying to tie up these loose ends from other movies. And that is one of the biggest issues I have, because something at the start of the movie, they said this is a problem, and by the end of the movie, that problem is still there. It seems like they try to finish it off with a closing montage with a nice speech and, oh, everything is alright now, when it's really not. Let's talk about the cast. Chris Pratt was my favourite protagonist in Jurassic World 1 and 2, and I don't feel like I was that connected to him in this movie, whether it was just because there was too much plot or they didn't give him a lot to do. He was actually one of my least favourite characters in this. He still gets a decent amount of screen time, he's still one of the main characters, but Bryce Dallas Howard as Claire Dearing was clearly the standout. She had some fantastic moments in this movie just in terms of plot and in terms of her performance. It was really well done. Isabella Sermon, who plays Maisie Lockwood, she has some cool moments. There was one moment in particular that I was like, oh, that's really good, and she brought a lot of confidence to the role, and I thought that was fantastic. Kayla Watts is a new character played by DeWanda Wise. She was a standout. I would love to see more of her if they did ever continue these films. She was a pilot, and she was just phenomenal through the whole thing. I thought her character and her performance was fantastic. Before we get to the legacy cast, it was cool to see a few returning faces from Jurassic World 1 and 2. Owen Grady's friend Barry makes a return, as well as Franklin Webb, one of the nerdy guys from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Now, the legacy cast. Obviously, it's so nice to see them all return and have banter with each other and interact together. Laura Dern as Ellie Sattler seems to be the most connected to the plot. She's the one who's driving one of the mysteries. And Sam Neill's Alan Grant is just along for the ride, but it's a joy to have him there. Jeff Goldblum's Ian Malcolm, funny as ever. He was a standout of the movie. He doesn't get a lot to do, but when he does, he makes it worth the while. I do have to say, I'm a sucker for hero shots. There's a few shots in this movie that involve the legacy cast, and they're just phenomenal. It was so cool to see it on the big screen, and it was just, amazing. The new character Ramsey is fantastic because you don't know whether you're supposed to be rooting for him or whether he's supposed to be an enemy until there's a moment where there's a very clear turning point, and from that point on, he's a phenomenal character. And finally, the villain of the film, Campbell Scott as Lewis Dodgson, was alright, I guess. Generic CEO villain type thing. One thing that I do feel about this movie is this Jurassic World trilogy can be quite easily compared to the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Jurassic World feels like the first one that almost everyone loved. It did very well at the box office, great cast, and everyone was looking forward to where the franchise was going next. The second film in the trilogy has the strongest direction, but a lot of people hate it, some for valid reasons and some for not valid reasons. This third film goes back to the original director, Colin Trevorrow here, and J.J. Abrams for Rise of Skywalker. The third film tries to do a lot. It has a lot of plot to resolve, as well as being the finale to the entire franchise. And in a lot of it, it succeeds, and in a lot of it, it falls flat. It also seems to undo some of the stuff that was set up in the second movie. So yeah, this one was just a bit messy, but it's good overall. Nothing fantastic. If you enjoy the Jurassic Park franchise, then you'll enjoy this movie. Overall, it's probably a 6.5 out of 10 for me. So there is my Jurassic World Dominion review. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you like content like this, please subscribe for more. Be sure to like and comment what you enjoyed from Jurassic World Dominion. And until next time, stay hydrated, drink water, and I will see you guys very, very soon.